Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are, remember you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another HABS Daily News with the hockey coach Guru Coach FRENCHY. Today, episode number 325. What your mini coach, Montreal Canadiens, could during the draft 2023 move up? Maybe. Then, of course, another big rumor for the Montreal Canadiens. And finally, some NHL news around the league. But before we start, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the likes, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show, and of course, leave us a comments about this episode. And let's dive in and talking about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day is about, do you think the Montreal Canadiens could move up during the draft 2023? Hugo is not afraid to move up, I believe, for the NHL draft 2023. Remember, last year they make a big splash trade in Montreal NHL draft 2022. First of all, the trade from Romanov for the 13th overall pick, and then they trade that 13 to Kirby Dach. What we expect now for the upcoming NHL draft? First of all, guys, the Montreal Canadiens, the last time they moved up for the first two rounds in NHL draft is in 2010. And that year, they moved up for Gerard Denardy. Over 13 years, guys, Marc Bergevin and Trevor Timmins never moved up in the first two rounds. Secondly, the NHL draft 2023 is very talented with very good players. And particularly, guys, in the second round, it's a really deep draft this year. Montreal Canadiens at this moment have 3 4-round pick, 110, 119, and 127 or 128, depends how Vegas go tonight. Then they have two other NHL draft on the 5th round in 2023. Montreal now have many assets. I'm talking about prospect. If you look about what they have, possible Montreal can make some kind of move. Then remember, guys, Montreal Canadiens have the 37th overall pick in 2023 and the 31st or the 32nd, depends on the Florida Panthers if they're going to win or not the Stanley Cup. If you think about this, I wouldn't be surprised if Hugo will try to move up the pick between 18th to 25th. They have an excellent players and that time of the NHL draft, and I think Montreal would love to do this. Or I would not be surprised they add a second pick on the second round for the NHL draft 2023 because the draft is really deep. And I think that's what Montreal could do during the upcoming NHL draft. Finally, I expect the Montreal Canadiens are going to make some trade and to move up for the upcoming NHL draft 2023. I would like to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment. Do you expect Montreal move up? Let's move on now, guys, for my second subject of the day. Here we go. Second subject of the day, of course, is the Montreal Canadiens rumor. And today, guys, I want to talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets. What you talking about? But first of all, guys, the Blue Jackets, in the last couple of days, they add two defensemen. One for the Flyers, Provorov, and then they add for the New Jersey Devils, Stevenson. That creates too many defensemen for upcoming season for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And remember, they already have Cherechek, one of the best prospect last year in the draft 2022. Bovis is a right defenseman, drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks in 2018, 8th overall pick. That year, guys, they have a lot of great defensemen. If you remember, we talk about, first of all, Dalin, Quinn Hughes just prior Bovis, and then behind him, they got Noah Dobson. Obviously, Bovis, with many injuries, he never reached his full potential in NHL. Right now, after 4 years with the Chicago and the Columbus Blue Jackets, I feel like the Columbus Blue Jackets are going to make a decision very soon to figure out what they're going to do with Bovis. But I have another defenseman. What are you talking about? Yes, they have, of course, another right defenseman. This one is Andrew Peak. Is a 6'3", 210 pounds, drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets, 34 overall pick in 2016. This guy played very well in front of the net, very physical. He's really a little bit more like the David Savard for the Montreal Canadiens. Don't expect too much on the offensive side compared to Bovis, where it's more about the transition, move the puck very quickly, and carry on the puck. Peak is another dimension of the game where it's really physical in the defensive zone, play very well in front of the net. It could be another impact for the Montreal Canadiens on the right side. We know Montreal does not have a lot of right defensemen, and we know Montreal Canadiens have only Barron, Kovacevic, and Savard at this moment. I know we have Whiteman, but you know what I'm talking about. And finally, they have MEILLEUR as a prospect. To add an additional right defenseman like Bovis or Pick, it could be really good for the Montreal Canadiens for the future. Now, I make a trade. Of course, I did it. And here my transaction, whatever is Bovis or Peak. Montreal Canadiens get one of them. The Columbus Blue Jackets get the second round pick 2025. Then the 4th-round pick 119 overall 2023 by the Montreal Canadiens. And finally, they get the prospect Oliver Kapanen. So this is what I have for you guys today. I would like to hear from you what you think about my transaction. Maybe you can tell me which player do you prefer, Pick or Bovis? And secondly, do you think this is a good deal or a bad deal for the Montreal Canadiens or for Columbus Blue Jackets, or this is a good deal for both teams? Leave me a comment about this subject, and let's move on for my last subject of the day. My last subject of the day, guys, about the NHL news. First of all, game number 4 tonight for the Stanley Cup Final 2023 between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. The Vegas lead the series by 2-1 after 3 games. Will be very interesting. This is a huge game again for the Panthers. They don't want to return to Vegas with a deficit of 3-1. Now, we have other news around the league. First of all, the Toronto Maple Leafs hire Shane Down as an advisor to the general manager for the Leafs. Then the New Jersey signed Stevenson for a contract at 8 years as a UFA, then trade him to the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is a huge signature with a little bit over $6 million AAV per year. That's it. That's all, guys, what we got for you today. Don't forget, I'm doing the live streaming play-by-play commentary. Game number 4 tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Join me live. Let's talking and watching the game between both teams. That's conclude, guys, all the subject we have on this episode. Here we go. Hopefully you enjoy episode number 3, 2, 5. But before we leave, we remember, don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to our Canadian show, and leave me comments about this episode. And of course, we want to remind you one more thing. You have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, great, blessing day, everybody.